Hey there, Brian King here. I'm getting ready to go out of town tomorrow. I'm doing a few presentations in North Carolina. And I was reflecting upon the information I'm going to deliver, the presentations I'm giving. And the main presentation is all around how we often have to change direction on our way to success. And I was thinking about the contribution that my parents made to that road. Aside from bringing me into the world, which is self-evident, it's very easy for us to look back upon our parents and think about all the mistakes they made, how they screwed up, how we succeeded in spite of them. And I certainly have plenty of examples of that. But as much as I talk about how hard it was for me to grow up with undiagnosed Asperger's, ADHD, dyslexia, you name it, I've been thinking recently about how hard it was for my parents to raise 4 kids, each one of us with our own anomalies, run a full-time business, in many cases making it up as they go because they didn't know how to run a business, and yet they managed to do it well enough to raise 4 very high-maintenance kids. And they did all this with their own undiagnosed Asperger's and ADHD. My dad with Asperger's, my mom with ADHD. And now as adults, having more information and more context so that I know what I'm seeing, and looking back at the things they did, decisions they made that impacted me negatively, and now being able to look at it as a consequence of their own Asperger's and ADHD that they didn't know was going on. They didn't know they were filtering life through that. And it's much easier to cut them some slack when I know what they were dealing with on top of what me and my sibs were throwing at them. I look back at them I used to be resentful, bitter, needing to go on Oprah, all the drama that went along with it. But now I look back at them with awe, asking myself, man, how the hell did you two do it? What kept you going? What allowed you to persevere in the face of your own challenges, continuing to hit the wall in your own brains, and then having to try and figure out how to raise us? So one thing that is really important to understand about their circumstances is when it came to light, through my son Zach at first, when he was diagnosed with Asperger's, and then I was able to realize this about myself, then I brought it to my parents, and my dad was able to realize that Asperger's was true for him. When the ADHD came to light, my mom was able to realize it was true for her. One key thing they both did when they received the information about the diagnosis is that they embraced it. They didn't fight it and say, that's not true for me. That's a bunch of BS. That's all a bunch of psychobabble. They didn't do any of that. Sure, they took some time to reflect because this is, not easy news for many of us. Some of us hear it and it's like a weight off our shoulders. Some of us hear it and it's like a punch in the gut, like we've just been given a cancer diagnosis. And I imagine they went through their own period of, what the heck does this mean for me? What if I'd known sooner? Man, my childhood could have been so much better. I went through that. They went through that. And it's common for many people to go through that. But in the end, they embraced it and said, now it makes sense. Now I get it. And they went about educating themselves in many ways so that they could connect better with my son, Zach, which is totally awesome, and understand the stuff he was going through. And it's also made for much more intimate conversations amongst us because now we realize why we struggled so much in our parent-child relationship. So the big takeaway from this is, as parents, and I work with a lot of parents that have kids with ADHD and Asperger's, as parents, if you see this in yourself, that the way your kids are struggling mirrors your own path as a child in many ways. It's important that you look at that and say, you know what? This may be true for me as well. And embrace that fact, because you are the foremost role model for your child. And if you can say to your child, hey, buddy, or, hey, little lady, you know what? You're not alone in this. Mom or dad struggles in this way too. And you know what? However difficult it is for you, you will never be alone, because you and I are in this together. We're going to figure it out. Maybe we're going to read a book together and discuss it. Maybe we're going to find a documentary on somebody like Temple Grandin or something about ADHD or dyslexia, and we're going to discuss it. We're going to learn from it. And maybe we're going to reach out and ask somebody for some guidance. You're going to hire a coach or a psychologist. Say, we're going to have somebody take us by the hand and guide us, but we're doing it together. I can't begin to tell you how powerful those words are. We're in it together. I am like you. We struggle similarly. Knowing you're not alone is one of the most powerful motivators. Allows you to take risks, to be more confident, because you know when you fall, no one's going to laugh at you because there's someone there to catch you. My parents have taught me so many things when it comes to persevering in the face of challenges. But one of the most important lessons for me, and I'll reiterate it for you, is when certain things come to light, don't deny them. Embrace them. Because the clearer you understand them, the more laser focused you will be in seeking the solutions that will ultimately make your life easier. So I offer a small glimpse of my parents' story to you in the hopes that it will motivate you and leave a powerful impression on you as it has done me my whole life. So thank you for tuning in. Think about the one person that could really benefit from this message, and make sure you share the video. This has been Brian, and we will talk again soon.